Welcome, everyone. Um, Let me start with one of the quotes Mr. Kennithraj said in one of his interviews. If we avoid politics, we will be ruled by the people who should be avoided. Mr. Kennithraj is a scientist, entrepreneur, founder, and CEO of Transendynamics. Well, there are umpteen number of entrepreneurs making money in Silicon Valley. Why do we have Mr. Kennithraj here? A short introduction about a few of his innovations will give us an idea. One, poisonous gas alert system in drainages. This will alert the person if the poisonous gases are dangerous levels. GPS tracking system without internet with a basic 2G cell phone. And robotic assisted learning for school kids, a learning and coaching assistant for schools that do not have enough teachers. No forward-thinking country in the world has so many manual scavenging deaths per year like in India. Most countries in the world deploy technology and equipment to maintain or repair their sewage system. But country like ours still deploy 100% underprivileged people for such work and often without adequate protection or safeguard for the worker's life. Sewage deaths are very common and very common occurrence in India almost every week, if not every day. Majority of these cases don't even get into official record. One or two go into record after a big protest from people. Though we claim that we have abolished manual scavenging just because there is a law, even the officially recorded manhole deaths are in thousands, leave alone the ones that go unrecorded. Mr. Kennithraj Thu Dec project aims at giving an efficient robot scavenger at an affordable cost. So do we not already have these robots? Did we not read about them in the news? Let me give a little more information about that. The current ones, which we just heard and read about, do we see them anywhere? At least I haven't. They are supposedly invented by the so-called brightest minds of the premium institutes, costing around 17 to 32 lakhs per equipment, and it gives a mediocre performance at its best. That too, those machines are complicated enough that only a technically challenged person, a technically trained person can operate, not by a common person who gets into drainage hole for the livelihood of the family. Did anyone even think of who's going to operate these machines? Often these elite graduates remain mentally challenged and incapacitated to understand the necessity of innovating things that are usable by a common person. The robo scavenger that is being designed by Mr. Kennithraj is aimed at multiple folds cheaper, 3 lakhs. A people-friendly government can afford to produce them at a larger scale so that they can be used across. This operates with a higher efficiency, goes into small streets and corners, and can be operated by a common person. Is it not brilliant? Coming to his GPS tracking system. It is designed to locate a person even if they do not have data, internet, or even a 3G mobile phone. In our country, we know the disturbing number of kidnaps, rapes of women and kids. What happens to the fishermen who go into the sea? Did we not see Cyclone Oki? Can these people afford a latest mobile that will have data all the time? Here is where the social scientist thinks and the innovative scientist develops. The innovative GPS locator will get your latitude, longitude by just sending an empty message from a basic mobile with simple 2G connection. Coming to robotics. Robotics is quite popular even in the US. We see many privileged kids going into coaching classes and participating in competition, etc. This gives an image that only elite people can afford that robotics classes and operating with robots and everything. Mr. Kennithraj is demolishing that preconceived notion that robotics is for the elites by taking that to our government school kids, explaining in their own language. Mr. Kennithraj is also a motivational speaker going into government schools. Usually, motivational speakers are just speakers, whereas Mr. Kennithraj is a scientist, engineer, innovator, and entrepreneur. But the rarest thing beyond all this is his social consciousness that his innovations are towards the most marginalized people. A relentless motivational personality from our very own North Chennai. In our society, where everyone pretends to be casteless, even the brightest of minds, like our guest here, face caste based atrocities. He is in this place not because of the society. He is here in spite of the society. The power structure and systemic oppression couldn't break his willpower, and he is spreading that strength and energy to the raw talents of India. He is here to inspire us by sharing his life experiences. A very warm welcome from Ambedkar King Study Circle to our honorable guest, Mr. Kennithraj Anbu. Over to you, comrade.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was such a warm welcome. I never listen these kind of words in any meetings like this. And thank you so much for your attention. Thanks all for giving me this opportunity, and for the members who joined in this meet with your busy schedule. I'd like to thank you all, and it's a very good morning here in Chennai, and good evening to you. So whenever I go and speak for some event or functions, whatever it is, I start with my life own story, because there is nothing more than my story to tell you. The achievements, the innovations, or else things I'm doing, all are happening just because of the things happening and happen in my life from my childhood. So when starting this, typically we are from an agriculture family in a village called Kil Chittambur near Dindivanam. The name itself, you can conclude that it will be defined for a marginalized community, or else we can call it a scheduled caste. So they'll put a name like Kil in front of the name, I mean the village name. So other peoples can conclude that that village is for the scheduled people. So I came from a village that is called Kilchittamur, and we have been forced to move to Chennai just for livelihood, since agriculture is not a profitable business. We can't survive it without any kind of support from the nature, especially when you have water crisis, you can't do agriculture in a better way. So we've been forced to shift to Chennai in 1990s. So when we shifted to Chennai, the first job, whenever we shift into a new place, we should find a job to survive ourselves, right? So the first job my dad got is he was employed as a manual scavenger. So manual scavenger, maybe in other ways or in any part of the country, a manual scavenger is a term cannot be understood very correctly, because there will not be a system that any person can let into the drainage system and cleaning the sewage in their own hands. So that word cannot be connected to the persons who are living apart from India. So that is very strange to them. But in India, it's very common name. A manual scavenger is a person who enters into a latrine or enters in a drainage and clean the human excreta with his own hands. That is called a manual scavenging system in India. So the first job my dad got once we moved to Chennai as a manual scavenger. He worked in that because we don't have any other alteration. Since my father was illiterate, he doesn't complete his school studies, so obviously he couldn't find any other job. So he do that job for me. Of course, he have to feed us, right? We are four member of family: my mom, dad, me, and my brother. So to feed three of us, he must take that job, and only we can survive. We cannot consider that is a worst job or a difficult job or a painful job. We can't think like that when your family is hungry. So he chose on that. So once he chose that, he's very sure that I came to this job because I'm illiterate, because I don't have any property now, or else I don't have any knowledge of any other skills. So my children shouldn't be like that in future. So he decided to make us an educated one, even he is struggling. That time we were struggled to get at least two times meals a day. I mean, if people understand how situation will be. If you, it is very difficult to ensure at least two meals a day, but you want your children to go to school. But he did that. He did any job that he can come to him. We've been admitted in a government school in India. In India, government school means it is a less costly. I mean, less fees we can afford. That's a very affordable piece. Like if you can buy a pizza at 100 rupees, the school fees will be like 10 rupees. So you can compare what is the government school systems in India. So we have been admitted in government school system, and we have been raised and studied up to my 12th standard in the same school. So the early stages was very difficult since I was a manual scavenger son. And especially when I see my dad first time, that was very painful actually. See, as you're a kid, when you're studying second or third standard, when you're roaming with your friends, while playing with them, when you see your dad have to clean the human skirt on his own hand, how will you feel? That is the thing. That is the first time I saw my dad while doing his job. He didn't tell that he was going to the sewage cleaner job. He didn't tell that to us. Due to emotion, I was not coming. Sorry for that. So we consider that my father was going to some job like a daily wages job, like cleaning some buildings, or maybe he may lifting some packages like coolie in Tamil Nadu. We consider that he will go to any job, but we didn't consider that my job would have. My father would have go to that kind of job. So first time when I roaming with my friend, I saw my dad cleaning some pits and with his own hand. I don't know how to react as a kid. If I call him as a dad, my friend came to know that my dad was a manual scavenger. So I can't call him dad. And I call him, why you doing this? And I can't ask him, why you doing this? That is a painful situation. I don't know how to react. I simply walk into my home. The next day, we have been discussing just things on family. Then I asked my dad, do you go to this kind of job? He said yes. And he said, I don't have any other thing to do. You guys are here are starving in new places. How can it be ideal without doing any job? Any job I can do that can feed you. He said that. I understand his pain, but I don't know what is the solution or in what way I can give in to that. Since as a kid, I don't have anything, right? I can't do anything actually. I'm depending him. How can I advise him or how can I give some support to him? That is not at all possible. So I just learned the situation. Okay, my dad is doing this job. That is what I can do that time. While learning, my dad switched a stronger profession after 2 3 years, like painting buildings, and there is a profession called I don't know what way. It's coolie. I mean, you'll be loading 100 kgs of packs in your shoulder, live somewhere up to 100 meters. They will pay some kind of 20 or 30 rupees a day. Like the job he went on. One day he shifting the packages. One bottle in the package was broken, and it's make wound in his own shoulder. And he was bleeding. He went to hospital, returned home. He never showed the wound to us. We keep noticing him. Why dad today is not turning back to us? He always sit like facing us, but he's not turning back any side in any direction. I got doubt and go behind him and saw his shoulder. There was a huge pain and it was a huge stitch. I asked him, why didn't you tell us? But he said, if I tell that I got wound, you won't allow me to go to the same job next day. So that's why I hide it. That is what he said. So this is the scenario. This is the situation we have been facing in childhood. I don't have any good things to tell you. Maybe it's a sad story or it may be a difficult one, but I don't have any good things in my childhood, so, except these struggles and starving. So this makes me to do something better, which I can do once I grown up, or that pushes me to educate well, or that pushes me to learn new things, or else utilize the opportunity. Whenever I feel tired or feeling angry due to my poverty or my dad's job or the pain we are facing, I only thought these things are happening just because of the unavailable education to my dad. And the other thing is, even the education is not available to everyone. Few people can go to some good jobs, but why don't we? If you're a OBC community or from if you're any other community, but you're having the same kind of poverty, you won't go to that kind of job. Then what make him to go to that job? So that is the social pressure we had. So I want to give solutions to this, but as a young kid, I can't do anything. So I focus only on my studies. I completed my 12th standard with the government school itself. Then I got an education loan. Then I joined in engineering. Before joining engineering, as you know, that my family was a manual family, then it was a daily wages family. We can't afford that much of fees to engineering. So when I said I want to go to engineering, my family said we can't afford that. After completing my 12th standard, we are in a position like we have ensured 3 times meals a day. That is the situation of our family. We can ensure at least three meals a day. So in that situation, how can you face lakhs of fees to learn engineering? So they said, don't go to engineering, do any government college. I mean, go any government college or study any degree. So at least you'll get a job. We can pay you up to 15,000 per month. So we can eat better. We can live somewhat greater than before. Like that, they taught me. But I decided, and I very strictly attached to that. I want to learn engineering so that I can give some solutions. But I didn't tell them the purpose of I insistently wanted to study engineering. I simply said I want to learn engineering. I won't go any degrees like that. They thought that I'm very adamant. I'm very respectful to their words. But the thing only I consider in my mind is, even they consider me as a bad and ununderstandable situation person, but I want to do engineering to make changes. So without of their knowledge, I applied engineering and I applied background. Hopefully, successfully, those two are granted for me, and I joined engineering. And after finishing engineering, I didn't get to know that what are the technologies I have been learned, what makes my life change, or what makes my life better than others. The engineering degree doesn't learn me anything. I don't feel I gain more knowledge than my 12th standard. So again, I invested a year in a library to study multiple books, multiple technologies. So for the next year, I mean, after completing my graduation, I used to go every library is available in the city, so that I can learn new things, because I don't know, I have much knowledge after getting engineering degree. So I didn't go to job. I go another year for learning new things. Then I attend an interview. Then I am placed in a robotics company. There are 70 people have been came for an interview. I think I am the only person who got selected for the company. So I joined a robotics company. It's for designing and manufacturing robotic equipments. Then I participated on behalf of that company and secured a national second in 2014. And my paper was promoted to Russia, and my paper was at an international sixth position at Russia. And that was the only paper which has been sent to Russia after 14 years, I guess. I think in the year of 2000, one paper was sent. And the other paper which has got secured and got victory in the international forum is my one paper. Till now, there is no other person paper has been chosen for the competition in Russia. So these are things we did. After achieving these things, I sit and think that what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of inventing new technology? Why we do this? If a technology doesn't solve the problem of a common man, or the technology doesn't solve or doesn't uplift the lifestyle of a common man, then what is the use of inventing technology? I don't have any answer for that. I didn't get any answer for that. At the same day, I quit my job and came back to my home and told my family that I quit my job. I want to do something useful. They didn't understand what I'm telling. You're getting good salary, but you are in good position. Why you skip your salary? These questions are in their mind, but they didn't ask me anything. They simply let me go. Then I started thinking that what is the technology? Then what's the purpose of technology? Then always people think that technology is for inventor for the people. People they can cherish their life, they can enjoy the moment like that. People thinking about the technology. We can talk about 4G, 5G, or new technology, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, or virtual reality, which makes the life better, which makes life more interesting. When people think the technologies which makes their life more interesting, I think the technology which makes someone life. I think the necessity of innovation, necessity is the mother of invention, I guess, as Albert Einstein said. So the inventions or the technology must be useful to uplift someone's life, or some to help some reduce the burden of the people. That is called technology in my point of view. So technologies for the people and people's not for technology. If you create a 5G or create a machine learning or whatever new technology, people used to go and attract by the technology. That is not a real technology, I guess. If a technology helps the people, the technology goes to the people. That is a technology we want to invent, I guess. So where I would start, the very painful my childhood remembrance taught me that if you can't find a solution to your own father had in his past, then how can you find solutions to some others or someone's? So I started studying again. Then I came to know that there is no robo scavenger or any alteration methods available in India to eliminate the manual scavenging. Personally connected to me is my father did a job. I know how that job was very cruel. I know how my father was suffered due to the job. What are the health issues he had been just because going to the job. So when I trying a solution, I searched all the government notifications, everything. That not even a single GO which gives a solution to that job. It always says abolishment of manual scavenging, and creating awareness. Like that agendas they have been promoting, but there is no solution. So I wanted to give a solution, but in the first step, I don't know where to achieve it and how to overcome the problems. So I started inventing a gas analyzer sensor, which used to sense the poisonous gas levels available in drainage system and indicates to people that there is a poison. If you get involved in it or get into it, you will be dead. We cannot give equipment to clean the sewage. At least we can alert them. If you get into it, you will be dead. So he can be saved at the moment by not getting attacked by the poisonous gases. So that is the way I thought. So I simply invent the poison gas alert system and give it to the government. And that was not implemented by the government, but after the government response, it says, I mean, when approaching the government says, since we have been inheriting the manual scavenger system in 1972, there is no manual scavenger, so we can adopt it. That is a reply I got from the Tamil Nadu government. Later, I applied those systems to the, I directly approached the manual scavengers and gave the solutions to them and give the equipments to them. They using it. So, according to government, there is no manual scavengers, so there is no need of invention. This is a statement of the government. So after doing these things, I came to know that there are so many problems happening in the society, but it can be reduced or it can be eradicated by technical innovations. But governments or any NGOs are not focusing on it because they are not their cup of tea. I mean, that won't give the name, that won't give the fame, what they wanted to achieve from the people. These are very necessity, but these problems are underrated. So in that way, I founded another offline GPS tracker system. When we hear the Nirbhaya case and the Aussie Fagel, I think a 6-year-old girl was raped and murdered in Kashmir, a 6-year-old Muslim girl. I found that why can't we stop it? Why the government's not stopping? I have two options. One is blaming the government for not giving any solution to the people to stop these kind of rapes and murders. Other thing, to do some technical innovation to stop this. So I choose a second one. I did an offline GPS tracker. I produce it and give it to the people from my source. So in every situation, I have two options. One is blaming others or expecting the government to give a solution. Another thing is I do what I can with my knowledge. So in that way, my innovations are came up. Now all my innovations are focused on people friendly and to uplift their life. So after innovating these things, I came to know these are very simple problems which can be solved within a day by the governments. But why don't the government not doing it? If a single person is an engineering graduate or an innovation person, I can solve few issues. Means why don't the government, which having huge setup, which have a huge background, forces, scientists, every kind of person, bureaucratics they have, why does it solve the solutions? I mean, why does it solve the problem and give a solution? The thing I came to know is the social hazard, especially manual scavenging, the people and the government also thinks that it's a natural job. The social segmentation of the society do their job. They think that the ones a manual scavenger do their job, they are poor, and that is their fate. The society thinks that the doing manual scavenging is one of the natural job which is enable the poor to get feed. I don't think in that way. Why not was the people's like that? Like in this way, why you normalize the things? Why one person has to get into drainage when you want to earn something? Have you ever drink cool drinks while you're crossing the sewage system? Or have you ever sit and eat in front of the toilet? No, right? We consider that sitting in front of a toilet is a disgusting one. We think consider drinking some cool drinks while crossing the sewage is a worst thing. But consider one person getting into the latrine and cleaning the sewages. At the lunchtime, just come out from the manhole and cleaning the ration and having foods, again getting into the drainages. How would the mentality of the person will be? If you see these things, if you're not doing any possible solution to them, then what's the purpose of education? Then why these governments are hiding the issue? So it's called that there are the certain people who wanted to do this job by certain community. And they think that that is their natural job. And the community is mostly the scheduled caste community in all over the India. So when they think the person is here to clean my excreta, when the person is here to clean my drainage, when the person is here to clean my sewage, there is no other solution. Because like thinking the person or a manual scavenger is available, they think the manual scavenger is a solution. They doesn't go far away from that. They doesn't want the technology to replace the manual scavenger. When we expecting a solution, we want the machines to reduce, clean the excreta or drainages. But people think we want a human to clean our excreta. So the people thinks the solution is the schedule to catch people. So not showing any interest to reduce the manual scavenger or innovating new things devices. Another thing is the denial of existence of manual scavenging. Every government produces the account that in Lok Sabha also in July 2022, Government of India produced a submit that there is no manual scavengers, there is no official data and record of manual scavengers, there is manual scavengers, she said. When the question asked by the under 40 men, what are the number of manual scavengers involved in this work till now and how many days are happening? Lok Sabha government says there are no manual scavengers officially recorded and the number of deaths are very less. This is what the statement from the Minister for Social Justice. So I think that we people, we common man can see the issues in daily newspapers. We can see the manual deaths in neighbor surroundings. Why can't the government try? I mean, why can't the government can't see the data? Why can't it maintain it? Because government, as a rule, from implementing a GO or producing a GO, government thinks that it's eradicated the manual scanning system. And government also thinks there are certain people who want to clean their etc. So that the caste system will long lost be lived in the country. So they can rule the people by always believing that we'll eradicate manual scavenging or we'll make the people life uplift. Like that they are thinking. So the government also passively wanted to continue the manual scavenging system. That's why I hide data. But if any person from a so-called upper caste in India involves in manual scavenging, then the very next day information will be available. Okay, this is one question, the denial of existence of manual scavenging. Another worst thing the government doing is implementing the IWASH equipments or the namesake equipments. Like if we consider missions which is innovated in Kerala, which is very familiar and which was very worshipped by the ruling government, either it's a state government or a central government, which was very worshipped. In my point of view, that mission is not doing its job at its best. See, they're using a system like a train system which goes down and grab the system and coming up. That is not a solution for manual scavenging. That is not a solution for clean drainages. I know personally what is the problem happening in the drainage hose. When you people seeing that someone getting into that and gathering the pits from the down and taking up and settle somewhere, that is not happening here. The real problem is the pipelines coming from the house to the drainage system. That is where the mesh happening. That is what the bracket is happening. That should be cleaned. That should be cleaned by the machines that will eradicate the manual scavenging. The innovations and the machines available till date in India is not cleaning the side subways or the side lines of the drainage system. It just go underwear and take water available in this downpit and comes up. This is what innovation. This is what the mission that is happening with the Bandicoot robot. But the government is pricing that, and it also equips some Bandicoot robots because these just want to name that we are implementing a solution for manual scavenging. We are hiring a robot for cleaning drainages. The government wants the name that they implemented the technology, and the people know things that okay, there was a technology like a Bandicoot robot or any other robot which can clean the drainages. Why other people are blaming us like that? But Bandicoot robot or any other existing robots are not a real solution. These are the namesake solutions implemented and banned and organized by the government departments to keep their name good in terms. It doesn't solve the issue. It may give a name to a government that it involves technology, but actually it doesn't solve the issue. The real issue will be solved if the real problem addressed. So once you fail to address a real problem, you cannot find a real solution. Even the Bandicoot investor, the cost of the equipment is very high. It's up to 70 to 32 lakhs per machines. How can a government implement this? If a government won't implement, it can do. Why the partial government won't implement this? At least I think there is only 12 machines available in Tamil Nadu, and according to India, it's about not more than 150 machines. So how can you replace the 7,70,000 people works with just with 100 machines? That is not at all possible. And the machine can be handled by the technical person who got trained into that, who learn to control pneumatics or learn to come option to see the camera surface and keep its motion after the cameras. How can you educate the people doing that? It's not a train operator, you're not educated one. The person involved in challenges are illiterate. How can you train the person? So these are the challenges available in the existing machine that is not addressed till date, and the government not showing any interest to address the issue. We just wanted the name that we have the active management system by implementing our namesake missions. So we want to replace that mission. So we are getting into inventing another mission, which is called Project 211, and it will be very less cheaper cost. I mean, by If you are buying a Bandicoot robot, it will take 30 lakhs per machine. In that same moment, you can buy 10 of our machines. The real thing is not about the cost. The real thing is addressing the issue. So our robot will go to the sidelines of the sewage system and will clean it properly, and it will eradicate the manual scavenge system at least in 5 years. It is not happening immediately. So India is a huge system. There are 7 lakhs of sanitary workers and 26,000 of dry latrines available in India. So that system must be not be eradicated. I mean, will be eradicated within 5 years. So that is an ongoing project going on. And while addressing the technical issue, I mean, while speaking about the life journey or speaking about my achievements, why I am focusing on shifting to manual scavenging is I don't want to hide this, hide this core from my lifestyle, hide this cruelty. We want to, I want every people to face the cruelty of manual scavenging. I want everyone to aware of manual scavenging. So when we talk about the technical seminar, when we talk about praising my achievements, or when we talk about the innovations, that will praise me, that will give me happiness. But the real happiness is when there is nil manual scavenging. So I want everyone to address the issues of manual scavenging so we can come out with a solution that will eradicate the cash system indirectly. We cannot eradicate the cash in India directly. If you speak that you want to eradicate cash, you want to abolish the cash, people will brand you as with some Baba Sahib name or with the Periyarist name. So that won't let you to attain the common man and change his mind. But when the challenge of abolishing the cash is start with the abolishing the manual scavenging, so it lets the people to do the decent job like someone else who lives in the same city or same day. So this is what I want to tell you. And other than this, my achievements are well spoken by Ms. Arun Modima. So I don't think any other I have to say about myself. And the life journey is the pain I have suffered in my past makes me an innovationist and makes me an entrepreneur, a robotic entrepreneur, and do some achievements and live in the house of people in Chennai, Tamil Nadu by my innovations. So I want everyone from our society, I mean, everyone from the marginalized society, especially in the Sadhika society, to use education as a weapon. I think I have used it in a minimum way as education is my weapon. When other people say education is a tool to achieve their life and education is important, I don't think education is a tool. I think for scheduled caste people and marginalized people, education is a weapon in terms of it. You can do a war with education. So I'm going to government schools, especially the Ajira Vidas welfare schools in Tamil Nadu, and teach them robotics. The worst thing is when we go from the brand of robotics as a robotic scientist, people think that that will be only for a very enlightened mind or a very sophisticated group. We can't do robotics in Tamil, or we can't learn robotics because it is so difficult. This is the thing consistently insisted in every mind in India. So when I approach the government school students and I said I'm from a robotic institute, or I'm doing robotics, he wondered that how can you do that? You require a lot of knowledge. You should be a very well learned person, or you should have more money to learn robotics. This is what the thought have been put up in every student's mind. I practically tell them there is no need of language, there is no need of money. If you want to learn robotics, you can do robotics. Robotics is nothing but a combination of electronics and software. The software embedded in electronics, and the group of electronics formed the robotics. So I'll teach them in their regional language, Tamil, and I motivate them. And every people thinks that if I do robotics, they think I'm from a CBSE school or some other Harvard University or MIT, IIT like that. I simply said I was studying in government Tamil medium with mid-meal day system. This is called Satyanavati in Tamil Nadu. So this is my background. So if I achieve this by using education, what about you? So in that way, I can motivate the government students and government college students and the underprivileged groups in Tamil Nadu. So this is what we are doing, and there are lots of steps to go forward on. Since I'm doing all this with my only sources, my speed of achieving the things is very slow. But obviously, we'll eradicate. Maybe the traveling speed is slow, but definitely I'll reach a destination one day. That day, there will be a nil manual scavenger. There will not be a system called manual scavenging in India. And I hope I will educate a lot of people and motivate them to achieve their career by means of education. I think this is, now I can conclude my speech. I don't have any special things to say. And thank you for this opportunity to share my thoughts. The two thing is, I addressed the issue of manual scavenging in India, not by the third person as a stranger. As a as a victim, I addressed manual manual scavenger, and as a solution giver, I was a manual scavenger. I want everyone to participate in the war of eliminating manual scavenging and also abolish the caste system in India. Jai Bhim.